Okay, we got a Timberjack here to work on. Nothing major, just a little bit of tinkering around with. This is from Finkelstein Logging. He's a jackass, we know. Okay, one of the things I don't like is this. This is probably half of our winch in problem. We're only probably putting 300 pounds of the winch because we're banging off on the dashboard here. This one's been banging in there for years. So we'll take and renew this stuff back here. It's just all wore out. Shouldn't be a big deal to fix. Just blocks of steel in there. See if we get it off. And then we got our lever assembly out. Go in the tractor like that. And this is dozer, steering, and winch. And over here was a gizmo that was basically, if you can see the pin in there, it was pinned to the shaft. I don't know if you can see through there. You can see the pinhole. Pinned to the shaft. And basically what it did was it was hooked to the frame. And when you come into steered hard over to where the frame stopped, it would push a thing up and would push this lever automatically back into neutral. Didn't really work well. I don't think they lasted very long, but I think I got a picture of it somewhere. But we're going to maybe eliminate that because you don't use it. And then we're going to renew these handles. They're all kind of slopped out, junked out. So we'll take it apart and see how bad it really is. Okay, so I don't know how this is going to show up. So I'm just filming out of a book. I don't know if that's right to do. But see, this is the articulation. This would be behind the cab. And this would get pushed in when it goes hard on one stop going one way. This would push in hard on the other way. And then it teeter-totters this little linkage that runs up to this linkage that goes up to the valve that pushes that steering lever back to neutral. And it was supposed to keep the frames from slamming together. Apparently it just kind of fell apart, and I think it never really worked right, but there's just pictures out of the book on how that worked. Had that little gizmo. And the levers. Looks like them levers are different than the levers we got. But who knows. Okay, I was reading the service manual. I don't know if you can see this, but it says here, steering adjustments. Description of the 200 Series D Timberjack skidders. The 200 Series D Timberjack skidders are fitted with a unique hydraulic/mechanical design of self-canceling or cushion steering, which prevents the front and rear frames from impacting together during a full steering lock. The cushion steering device is activated by a push rod, which is connected through a system of linkages to a hydraulic control valve. When turning the skidder into a full steering lock, the push rod strikes the rear main frame before the skidder articulates sufficiently to allow the frames to impact together. The rod is pushed forward and returns the control valve to neutral and thereby cancels the steering action. So then again, we look at the drawing here, how that works. So these rods push on this linkage. So what happens is basically the thing gets steered so far and then this returns to neutral. So the logger yanks back on the handle, deforming or breaking this linkage and causing it not to work. And then it probably gets out of whack where it doesn't want to steer at all, or steers wrong, or wants to return it, in the wrong spot. So then it probably gets violently racked the other way until we break the shear pin or roll pin in there or whatever it takes to completely disable it. because if you look here, this is the adjustment. Start here. Let's go down through here. And then checking the length of the steering. This is important. You're supposed to check your length of your steering rod. It tells if your frame stops are worn out. And there's your dimensions, 17 3/8. That should be full steer. Or you're bottoming out the cylinder is what they're telling you here. So, okay, we've been working on our lever assembly, and what we ended up doing is we ended up getting some new brass bushings from McMaster car to fix up the holes. Some of these holes were pretty bad. I don't know which one's the bad one. Guess that one's pretty bad. So we had to go oversized pretty well on the ones for the links. And then these ones were just a little bit bigger, and they were sized enough where you could just drill them and they would kind of press fit in there, oversized enough. So we drilled these 13/16 drill, and these are getting 1/2 inch drill. This one's got both bushings in it, and we gotta do a couple more handles, and then we'll put this back. Okay, we got our controls all assembled. We welded a washer on this end. We didn't weld a bolt on that end. We just drilled and tapped the end of the shafts. We can screw the bolt on there, and that'll get us some preload here. Keep this all nice and tight. This is all like almost works too good. That should make a huge difference in running it. This is all tightened back up. Lever still hit. Still hit the dashboard. Winch in doesn't though. That was one of the complaints he had. Maybe that'll help that. But there Okay, we got our steering winch and blade controls all tightened up. And we made some parts for hand throttle. This is our original linkage. Basically this hooks to a hand lever, and then this goes up and ties into the original foot pedal linkage. But this is prototype. That one didn't quite work out. So this is the end one. Basically we just had to make it a little bit longer in the bend here. This is rubbing the frame, so we just basically bent a new piece. It's overall the same length, it just bends in a different spot. Got a little washer in there. Got a spot for a cotter key to go in. And then this is the control handle. This goes in the side of the dash, and then it was missing the friction washer. That keeps it from, I don't know, it's a friction washer, so it keeps it held in position. Made one out of an old piece of brake band off a winch. Usually get a little bit extra of that, so that's what that was made out of. That should work. It's just like a brake disc. That's what that stuff is. And then I got a spring to put some tension on it, and a nut to put the tension on the spring. So we'll put that all back together next. Got a new ball too. Was missing the control handle, or the ball for the end. It's a little piece of shit plastic ball, but it's better than nothing. hand throttle all in there. That works as it should.